All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, coming in for a unit breakdown. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend, great Independence Day, happy 4th, all that good stuff. And I hope everybody had a relaxing weekend, basically. And yeah, so I had a lot of time to come up with a lot of lists, and I wound up playing a game on Tabletop Simulator. Went with double bounty, a new double bounty list with Boba Fett and Bosk, because I couldn't get the one with Cad Bane to work on Tabletop Simulator right now. So I'm gonna wait. But yeah, went all right. Had 3 dewbacks, double bounty. I'll kind of go over that list in a little bit, and then I was messing with some, Shadow Collective lists, some CIS lists with Dooku, and there's a lot of cool stuff that I feel like is coming. Hopefully that you guys like. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just kind of break down Gar Saxon today. You can play him, you could play him in the back, you could play him in the front. He might die quick, but he can play it no matter what. So you just kind of use him how you want. I'll go over kind of 2 different lists, and I'll explain, the core. You can, flip flop if you want to, but I'll kind of go over just why I did it and, what you can do and what to expect and stuff. But yeah, all right, so let's go over him. He's great. He's cool. He's got jump 2, just like every other Mando. He is 105 points baseline. Okay. And he's got, 2 training, a comms, 2 gear, and 2 armament, which is the most out of anybody. Which is really cool. That's why you can create him like long range, short range. He's almost kind of like a, an Iden or a Cassian, in the fact that, you can do a lot of kind of different stuff with them. You can use Cassian up close for sure. Again, he's going to get shot at a lot, but you can use him to get in close and do some damage before he winds up going. This one, Gar Saxon is going to last a little bit longer because of the red die saves. And then Iden can get in, with her ID 10 and with her, repeater rifle, and do a pretty good amount of damage and last a little bit, last a little while. But the fact that she can go between a repeater rifle or a sniper rifle, same thing with, Cassian. Gar Saxon can, hold a very similar style rifle. It's not infinite, and it only can go up to range 5. But then he has also got, the flamethrower right here, the flame projector, which is, melee and range 1. He's naturally got a range 1 to 2 weapon, which is a red, a 2 black, and a white. Pierce 1, which is awesome. So you've already got a pretty good weapon close range. Now, if you do fear that he is in melee or going to be getting in melee, he's already got 2 red, which is not bad. So, and I'll kind of, like I said, go over lists that will kind of cover what to put on him if you want to go into close range. But these are just options, like the things I'm trying to tell you as I go over, and I'll explain them later. He's got allies of convenience. So your army may include 1 additional mercenary unit of any rank. So basically, you're just going to be able to, when you're using him in a battle force, because that's all you can use him in, the allies of convenience is really just to use his courage value at that range 1 to 3. That's mostly basically, then not use his courage value of range 1 to 3. Basically, only just give him orders. Wow, sorry. I'm thinking of something else. So you can issue orders to friendly mercenary units. They can't take your courage. They can only take the courage of the exact same affiliate that they are. So Black Sun or Pikes are only going to benefit on the courage of the same affiliation. Compel. So compel, when a unit basically has a suppression token, you can give them, if they're not panicked, you can give them another suppression, and then they can do a free move action. So say that your Mandos have 1 suppression, they're courage 2. So they're not panicked, but they have, so suppressed but not panicked. So if they're courage 2 and they have 2 suppression, they can make a free move action because they're suppressed but not panicked. If, a core unit has a suppression token, you're going to be able to give them, if they're not panicked, that you're going to be able to give them their second token, basically, second suppression token, and they can do a free move. Now, if you have the pikes with them, the pikes are going to have, what was it? Oh my goodness. Danger sense. So when you use compel on the pike syndicate and they have a suppression, so they have one suppression, they're suppressed, they're going to move, they're automatically going to have two suppressions. So when they get shot, and then if they have a dodge, you're going to be able to possibly dodge and then use the amount of dice that you're supposed to use on top of the two extra suppression that you have. Now, that's why it's going to be important to have a way to get off the suppression of pike syndicates, because they're going to be easily, you're going to be having a lot of suppression in this, list, are going against you in a way, because there's so many ways to use it and there's so many ways to do things with it. So you're going to want to be able to get it off. So going back to Gar Saxon, impervious. So when defending, if the attack pool has pierce, pierce 1, or you're rolling 1 extra defense dice. If it's got pierce 2, you're rolling 2 extra defense dice, and then possibly up to pierce 3 extra defense dice. So that's awesome, because you're going to be surging. So if you can hopefully block all of them, you negate pierce, or at least, not as many, hopefully. So you have your chance to save yourself. Sharpshooter 1, which is awesome. That's cool. He's going to be able to negate cover by 1. Anyone who has low profile is negated. So you're always going to be able to get someone at least in light cover. So you're always negating at least that 1. So with light cover, maybe you're always at least going to get a few of these in through. So, well, yeah. So light cover, maybe this one doesn't hit, that one hits, that one hits, that one hits. At least 2 are going through, or at least 1 are going through. And he's surging to crit, which is awesome, because you're going to need those, especially with the black dice and some of the white dice. And surges to defense, 5 health, 2 courage, not bad. Okay. It'd be awesome if it was 3, but this is not bad. Pierce 1, range 1 to 2. Now, we've already talked about it. He's got, 2 red defense, or 2 red attack dice in melee. And so let's go ahead and get on with the lists. So I've already broken them down, and I'll kind of go over them and explain them for you guys, so we're not sitting here forever. And so we'll go with Saxon Mando's kind of like long range. So it's 9 activations, and I'll explain kind of how I decked them out and what I did and what happened. So with Gar Saxon, I'm giving him Hunter because he can do a lot with that aim. Okay, no matter what, because for the most part, I'm gonna have him kind of, shooting. If he's for the long range, he's got the rifle. So with the rifle, is range 1 to 4. It's a single rainbow, high velocity, so no one's going to be using dodge tokens. If you have an aim, you can make it pierce 1, and then if you had a second aim, you can make it range 1 to 5. Okay. So the more aims he has, the better. So if you can give him a free aim anytime he's using this, because with the long range rifle, you're probably shooting threats that either are coming at you or anything like that, especially with a single rainbow. And you can make it pierce, especially if you have enough. Because if you have Hunter, you get an aim, then you can take an aim action, giving you 2 aims, giving you that range 1 to 5. Okay. You just have to make sure that your other soldiers are working on getting a wound onto those people that need it. He's got the combat shield, so just in case, any sniper or someone wants to come at him, he can just go ahead and negate it at least and not having to roll. That's something he doesn't have, like independent, so he's not going to be getting, a token when he doesn't have an order, but his command cards can help. Okay. So he's going to have the jetpack rockets just in case you have any armor and you need to kind of get him pretty close. So range 2 to 3, blast, cycle, impact 2. So ignore cover, 3 red dice. You're probably going to be getting 3 through almost every time because it's blast, so there's no cover, and then impact 2. So you'll be able to at least do something to armored vehicles. Now, you're not going to be able to do it a lot with anything down here. So he's really the only anti-armor that you have in here. So the most part, you're going to kind of stay away from them. If you have to, use the Saxon rifle to try to get a crit through, best you can. with the surge, and then use the pierce to get any NT armor hits through. And with the pikes, let's go ahead and go with the pikes. Whoops. So I'm giving just one pike leader at the moment, lead by example and portable scanner, so that he can be the most supportive unit out there to the 3 pike foot soldiers. So this is going to be the longer range list. So I have at least another soldier right here, which again has impact. Sorry. So you do have at least one more way of getting, in some way of armor at range 1 to 4. I think this is what the ATRT laser cannon dice is, just not impact 3, just impact 1, and range 1 to 4 instead of 2 to 4 like the other one. So this is a great card. So you have at least 2 anti-armor stuff right here, portable scanner to be able to give out another dodge. So if you're using ploy, and I'll explain this in a little bit, you're not giving out any orders, right? Well, he's going to have independence. Since he didn't have an order token, he's going to gain a dodge. Well, when you would gain a dodge, you can give yourself a token, a suppression token, and give that dodge to one of the pikes who also have independent dodge. So you're going to have at least one pike unit with 2 dodges automatically, and then you're going to already have a suppression on him. And then there's a few different ways you could do. You can use the portable scanner to give a second pike a dodge. So you have 2 pike foot soldier units with 2 dodges. Hopefully, if you were to be able to start with a pike or be able to do something with a pike. And then with lead by example, you're getting rid of suppression. And if he were to take a dodge as a second action, he could take another suppression, giving him 2 suppression, which, is pretty rough, but it's possible. Maybe he's on the verge of death and you don't really care, or it's in the very, very beginning and he's pretty out of line of sight and behind heavy cover and all that good stuff. Then you could give out that third dodge to a third pike syndicate foot soldier. So he can give out 3 dodges possibly, 1 at the beginning of the round, and then 2 during his turn, but he would have 2 suppression on him. So you just need to make sure that he is well protected. Then if the pikes have, 2 dodges on them, with outmaneuver, you're going to be able to spin those dodges to cancel crits. And like I said, you've got 2, and then you have danger sense 2. So I don't know. I feel like they're going to be at least okay if you keep them behind cover, just like rebel soldiers. Like if you keep them just like the rebels behind cover all the time and you're giving them their dodges, they should be okay. Now I'm giving 2 of the pike syndicate soldiers electro whips for 2 reasons. 1, they're cheap, super cheap. And 2, with the Mandos, you've got 4 units. And what I plan on doing is kind of going in and kind of keeping them long range at the same time. So you have the Super Commando Marksman, you have 2 units of those, and then you have a Mandalorian Super Commando, just a regular Super Commando. 1, because it's cheap, and 2, because you can still get range 3 out of them. So you have 4 people shooting range 3 instead of 3 people shooting range 3 and only 4 people shooting range 2. So you lose out a gun in a way. At least with these 3 units, you get range 3. You might not get the same dice as the marksman, but at least you still get range 3. So this is all at least, range 3 to 4 so far. And then you have your, Mandalorian Super Commando who can kind of, get in there and do some melee damage if they need to. And so I'm trying to stick with 4 units of Mandos, especially with Gar Saxon, because he does really well with Mandos, especially since if the pikes are going to be gaining outmaneuver in your command cards, you also give the special forces outmaneuver. So your entire army basically can cancel crits with dodges if given the command card at the time. Okay, so it's really cool. I mean, you have that benefit going for you. It's just a matter of giving out dodges and stuff. And yeah, so Rookcast, the reason I gave Rookcast the combat shields is because she's getting in close. The other Mandos aren't getting in as close unless they need to. All right. So let's go over the command cards. So marked for elimination for Gar Saxon. Gar Saxon gains 2 aim tokens. Choose an enemy commander or operative unit, and that unit gains 4 observation tokens and 2 suppression tokens. So let's just go with an example. You're able to go with him. Maybe you use this the second turn because you're keeping him in the back, right? And the first turn you use this 2-pip, and I'll explain, why. But maybe you use this on the second turn. Maybe you were able to hopefully put a wound on the commander or operative that you want, or that's the most threat. So the second turn, you use this one. You're going to gain 2 aim tokens. You're also going to gain another aim token from Hunter. So you've got 3 aim tokens. Then you can take an aim. So that's technically 4 aims that you can have. It's sad that sometimes you won't be able to, share your tokens, but that's 4 possible aims. Now, if you didn't get, a wound on the operative or commander, don't worry, because that's still 3, aims that you're going to have. 1 to make it range 5, 1 to make it lethal, and 1 to re-roll just in case you needed to. That unit's also going to gain 4 observation tokens and 2 suppression tokens. So if you don't use those observation tokens, use them for whenever you're having to maybe move. And with the commandos, since they don't surge, neither do the pikes, but for the most part, your long range weapons, because they're range 3, are on the mandos. So basically, you save your observation tokens for the mandos because they don't surge again, and they might have wanted. Well, they're gonna have independent aim. So, maybe save them for the pikes since they're not gonna have an aim. So yeah, go with that one. And then 2 suppression tokens. So hopefully they're going to only get 1 action unless they roll it off. If Gar Saxon were to shoot at them, they're going to have 3 suppression. So who knows if they're going to roll that off or not, all of it. So they hopefully will get 1 action, limiting what they can do. And then if you were to, continue shooting with them before they started, you can build up all of those suppression tokens on the enemy at a time and hopefully just have them panic off the board, or that way you can stop them completely in the next round from doing anything. So that is one of the, options you can do with this card. It's, just as a scenario. Aggression, that way aggression, let's just kind of talk over. Everyone's going to be getting it in all of their, starter boxes and stuff. So you have to nominate a mercenary unit. So since we have Gar Saxon and we have the Pike commander, you can nominate one or the other. So when issuing orders, you can issue up to 2 fewer orders. And then for that, each order not issued, you can choose a different friendly mercenary unit at range 1 to 3. Each chosen unit gains an aim token. So you still have to be careful of who you choose to nominate, because who you choose to nominate is going to be your basically commander who would be able to give out orders at range 1 to 3. He can't give out orders at range 1 to 3, but he can still give out the aims. Okay. So this is pretty cool because you have a 2-pip that can give out some aims. Now I forgot to go over the 1-pip ploy. That's what I meant to go over. So ploy, everyone's going to be getting this, and it's also the 1-pip. So you nominate a mercenary unit. If you were to, you can also nominate Maul if Maul, you had him. Okay. So choose an order token and place it face down on this card. So you can pick whatever order token you want, basically, put it face down. You can look at this token at any time, obviously, because you also know what it is. And so when you would draw an order token from your pool, you may use the order token on this card instead. So again, you're not giving out any order tokens. You've set aside a token, though, that you really want. So maybe, you need to give it to Gar Saxon really bad, or you need order control. And you pull out one of the commanders and you leave it on there. So whenever you really need him, and then kind of give out an aim maybe to one of the super commandos. It's up to you. But that's it. At least you get to know what it is. Okay. Now we've talked about aggression. If you don't give out, maybe you were to nominate Gar Saxon, you don't give the order to him, but from him at range 1 to 3, since he's moving fast, the Mandos are probably since he's staying in the back, and since he's staying in the back, I'd probably give it to the Pike Capo Syndicate and nominate the Pike Capo Syndicate, and then they're going to be range of anybody to give out aims, and the Pike Syndicate foot soldiers are getting dodges, so you're probably going to want to give them aims since the Mando Super Commandos are independent aim. So at the start of activation, if they don't have an order token, they gain an aim. They're also impervious. Whenever they get are issued an order, they gain a dodge and they're jump 2. I haven't talked about them really. I mean, I was going to kind of break them down in the future at some point, but yeah, so that they're basically, in my opinion, they're better than the Mandos for the Rebels because of the weapons they have at range 1 to 2 and 1 to 3, which makes a huge difference. And the fact that either if they gain an order, they get a dodge. If they don't get an order, they get an aim. So unlike the unlike the other Mandos, they have to give themselves an action to give themselves a, and a dodge or whatever. They can't just get a free one unless it's the Clan Ren where they have retinue, but that's only one unit. This is every unit that will always be getting something at least. And then again, they're still surging to defense, which is really to me all that matters. The courage 2, awesome. And yeah, so they don't surge, but at least one of your units has the super commando, just regular guy where you're going to gain 2 surge tokens that you can use at any point in time that you want. And then with the super commando marksman, it's range 1 to 3, single rainbow, precise 1. So whenever you have that aim, if you were, you didn't get an order, you get an aim, you move, you shoot, you can re-roll 3 dice instead of 2 dice, basically. And yeah, that's the super commandos. So let's go over the 2-pip that I would say you would use in the first round. Gar Saxon can't issue orders beyond range 1. That's why, honestly, because unless you're going to move him in close and you're keeping up with the Mando, like other Mando units, and you're keeping him up with them, then you would use this maybe in a different round. But for the most part, I would use this, round 1 if he's in long range configuration. So he just can't issue orders beyond range 1. And when he issues an order, that unit gains a dodge. And then Gar Saxon and every other, special forces can spend dodges to cancel crits. Doesn't matter, where they are on the field. They just gain that ability. Okay. So you don't have to have range for that, but you have to have range 1 in order to give 2 troopers an order. So your best bet is to use this in round 1, give them that dodge, and then have them move if they need to. So that way they can get into a really good position, have a dodge, have situational awareness basically attached to them without having to bring situational awareness or take a dodge. So that's pretty cool. That's what I would do. Okay. And then it also gives, your Gar Saxon a token to begin with, an order token to begin with in the very first round, so that he can also use his rifle early on. You won't be able to use Hunter in that situation, but you would still have an aim for either lethal or long shot. And then discretion. Here we go. So end of the 3 pips. The reason I would choose this one, obviously, it's, you can issue no orders and then give out 3 dodge tokens to people at range 1 to 3. It's very similar to the 2-pip. I would probably either nominate the Pike Syndicate when you need to, or Gar Saxon. I mean, if you're keeping him near the back, there's probably not going to be too many people near him, except for the 2 Pike Syndicate foot soldiers that are there to kind of protect the back, or if they need to protect the back. So yeah, you might not have to nominate Gar Saxon for that. Victory or death. When Gar Saxon issues an order, it's range 1 to 3. Okay, it's him and 2 trooper units. So doesn't matter who those trooper units are. And also, each friendly special forces is going to gain outmaneuver again and Gar Saxon. So you never need to put situational awareness on any of them. They're always going to be able to have it. And then, yeah, so this is a good card, because this is a 3-pip that hands out aims. The other 3-pip hands out dodges. So the amount of, tokens that you're going to be able to give in the Shadow Collective is really, really awesome. So that's Saxon in a long range. I would go with Breakthrough, because you've got 5 units that can move speed 3 versus Rebels can only have 4 units that move speed 3. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah, so 5. You can actually have 5 still in the other one. You would have, oh, sorry. Yeah, 4. Sorry. 3 special forces, and that's 2 Mandos, 1 Clan Ren, and Sabine. This one you have 5, because you have Gar Saxon, and you can bring 4 Mandalorians. So people who like Mandos like me, this is the one. And then they've got more flexibility in, like I said, what they can do. And with breakthrough, you've got so many units that will be able to move, and then you can keep the Pike Syndicate capo with the other 3 other Pike Syndicate people and keep them in the back and hold in cover and wait for some people to come by and just nail them. That's just up to you. Key positions, that wouldn't be too bad. Mandalorians can move in quick while the, Pike Syndicates move in for, some middle as well, while the Mandalorians shoot for the middle and or the back. While Gar Saxon can handle the back pretty well on his own if he needs to. Bombing run, you've got at least 3 good Mandos that can move quick to get that in there. And hostage exchange, with the amount of dodges that they're getting, and with compel, with danger sense, I think hostage exchange would also be a really, really good objective. Battle lines, so that way you can spread out. Make sure that you just with most of this stuff, you just want to get your guys in and then use the other ones to disrupt the other person. Honestly, if you can just disrupt your opponent while you try to make your stuff into their deployment zone, you're going to do well. Even at hostage exchange, as long as you can tie some people up, you're good to go. Disarray wouldn't be bad because, like I said, you've got 2 commanders. So no matter where you put them, you're always going to have a good courage bubble. Hemmed in, you've got some pretty good people who can stay in close. And then with the fact that you're going to be able to move your stuff into 2 different zones, makes it easy for bombing run and breakthrough. Basically, I mean, for key positions, you're pretty much close to the middle. And then hostage exchange, you're in the middle pretty much almost. So that's not too bad. And that's for disarray. Hemmed in and major offensive. Yeah, I mean, all of these are pretty good. Limited visibility because at least you can move as much as possible. Fortified positions, that's if you wanted. You didn't have to have that one. It's just, if you really want to get into position, that's what I would do. Fortified positions wouldn't be too bad. Supply drop wouldn't be too bad. Clear conditions, it's all pretty standard. So I know this is taking a while, but I want to go ahead and quickly go over the other one, the short one. And since I don't have as much to talk about in that, I'll just kind of talk about it again. Again, 9 activations. There's 3 commanders in this. It's 798, so you're still getting a good little 2-point bid. Gar Saxon's a little bit more decked out. So I'm giving him tenacity because if he's getting in close, he's going to be getting wounds. With that, you can roll 3 red dice, surge to crit. Boom. For melee. He's also going to have, with tenacity, maybe in melee, you're going to be able to add a red dice to his jetpack rocket. Or sorry, no, his flame projector. So you get in close, you get into melee, you decide to use the Saxon flame projector in melee, you get that extra red dice, as far as I know, because while performing a melee attack, if you're wounded or have another one, and this is your melee attack, which right here is it's spray. So say you've got battle droids, or say you've got a lot of people, say you're going after Wookiees, there's 4 Wookiees, so you'd have 8 dice, and then you'd have a red for 9 dice. Not too bad. Prepared supplies, that way he does actually have to get his dodge in. He's going to have his combat shield, again, the flame projector and the jetpack rockets, because he's also already got a range 1 to 2 gun, and the jetpack rockets again are anti-armor and it cycles. Now I would go with the gunslinger and rook cast. Now with rook cast, I'm going to give her up close and personal because I've got a little bit more points to give her that. And since she's got 2 health and she's got a better gun, I'm going to go ahead and give her that a chance to get more dodges, especially since the commandos will be able to cancel crits with 2 command cards. And I'm also going to give them the combat shield to keep them alive a lot longer. And then I'm going to go with just regular 2 super commandos. That way, if you need to use long range, you can. If you need to use short range, you can. It's kind of very versatile and is giving you those 2 extra surge tokens. And then the super gunslinger, that's why I'm saying going with rook cast, kind of getting in close. The other ones don't have to be in as close. And then I'm going with the Black Sun on this one. It's close range. So, obviously everyone's shooting close, but they've got red defense dice as well. So this entire list has red defense dice. So at least that's going for you. You've got a Black Sun that can, take off suppression because of either compel for Gar Saxon's compel, but also every Black Sun enforcer has Dauntless. So you're going to be able to give them a suppression token and then have them move. So, and then with Compel, I mean, as far as I'm aware, you should be able to stack them, but I don't know. Someone correct me. Someone leave that in the comments below and let me know if you can stack them, how you would stack them, and in what order, just to be safe. But yeah, I'd go with the 2 Black Sun commanders and then 2 Black Sun enforcers, mostly just to kind of keep your enforcers doing a lot in what they can. Now, if you wanted, you wouldn't have a lot of, points for this, but you can at least give 1 Black Sun enforcer, the Magdet enforcer, and the other one just be blank. But for my purposes, I just wanted some bodies that can roll red defense dice saves pretty much for payload. So that way they're surviving longer so that they can keep moving the payload. Bombing run, I have bombing run again because I've got 5 sets of Mandos and they can move pretty quick. Hostage exchange, the Black Sun enforcers have Dauntless, so they can give themselves a suppression and move. So they're no matter what, and they're gonna have courage too with the hostage. So they're gonna be able to do a lot more with that. So that's a good one. And then intercept the transmissions again if they need to move and give themselves a suppression to move to get in the range, they can do that too. And then take it off at the end of the round. If you can't, well, you will, but hopefully they won't be panicked. I mean, disarray, you've got enough commanders that you're not going to worry about, the command bubble. The long march, you don't have to have the long march with hostage exchange, bombing run, payload. It's kind of making these things a little bit harder, but you just have to adapt. You don't have to, like I said, if you don't want the long march, you could just go with advanced positions. Okay. Battle lines and major offensive would also not be too bad with that. And then limited visibility, these are close range. So you kind of want the limited visibility in that. Minefield, you technically, hopefully with the fact that you've got Mandos, you can kind of maneuver a little bit more. So hopefully, it's not screwing you up as much, but it's a possibility to screw up the other person with the minefield. Fortified positions and supply drop. If any of you guys have different, conditions or deployments or objectives that you'd have that you think would go better with this, just let me know. I'm going to leave both of these lists in the description below. So that way, if you wanted to play this when it does wind up coming out on Tabletop Simulator, hopefully it does soon, then you can. Or if you just want to edit some of these, you're welcome to. They're 9 acts. I can't get 10 quite yet because it's really hard with 4 Mandos. That's why it's really hard for me to get 10, because I want the amount of Mandos possible, as many as possible. And I'm going to be kind of biased towards that. So I'll try to do my best to make Maul lists. But yeah. All right, guys. Hopefully this was a good way of kind of breaking down Saxon and using him in a close list or a long range list. You're welcome to check it out and kind of see with the lists that I'm leaving the descriptions below. But yeah. And hopefully you guys again had a great 4th. May the 4th be with you. Hopefully it was, I should say. And yeah, I'm going to come out with a lot more lists soon. And hopefully today, if not a little bit this week, I'll kind of make up for this weekend. But all right, guys, I'll catch y'all soon. And y'all have a rest of your good week and good day.